Hello, everybody. Songfather here on this beautiful, no, very wet. The last time it rained like this, Noah done built himself an ark. Ooh. Hey, I don't write them. 5/23, that's the date. A lot of rain today. And I got some more coming. Some more big boobies, boomers, and some more heavy rain, and then a couple of days, and then I don't know about the weekend, but we'll see. We take it as we can, and I want to thank everybody, as I do every week, for tuning in. We're averaging somewhere around or close to 1,000 views for everyone I do this, and now it's going to be going up on YouTube. And then on the YouTube thing, it comes with this whole, I don't know, fanfare, and it's a parade, and it's all kinds of, it's a big premiere. I don't know, whatever it is. But let's see, maybe it'll go somewhere. Who knows? The Yankees won again last night. Poor Baltimore, and I don't know his name, but the announcer for the Baltimore Orioles is like absolutely losing his shit inside the studio there, because he's been screaming. Gleyber Torres has had, I believe it's nine multi-home run games so far this year, and every one of them has been against the Orioles, and he's screaming in there like a maniac. Don't pitch to him, walk him, hold up the four fingers and send him to first base. What's wrong with you people? And they keep pitching to him, and he keeps knocking it out. And El Kraken, Mr. Gary Sanchez, is making a lot of people forget some errors in judgment and actual complete numbskull errors behind home plate that, of course, runs, because he is smashing the living daylights out of that ball. He's averaging, I think they said it was 417 or 427 yards a home run, somewhere around there. What? Oh, my God almighty. So, yes, I know I say it every week, and you know me, if you've been friends with me and following me, I will eventually start saying how they're terrible and Boone's an idiot and everything else. It's just the way I am when they go into a slide, a little bit. Not too big, but, they almost have to. Mr. Stanton, unfortunately, is back on the disabled or injured list. They don't like to use the word disabled, and you know what? I like it too. I don't like using that word. Back on the injured list, he finally made it down to AAA to get loose and play, and he did all right. And he smacked a homer, and then he fouled the ball off his knee, and it seems like the way he twisted when it hit the knee that he tore a calf, or I don't know, or strained it, or it's just unbelievable that these bizarre things that are happening. Judge is still out, and all he did was smack what would have been with his speed at least a double, maybe even a triple, on a swing, and then did something to somewhere underneath the rib cage there, and and that's the worst place to be. You use these muscles here for everything you do: sit, stand, walk, go to the bathroom, whatever it's going to be. You use it all. So especially if you're a ball player, just warming up, running for the ball, reaching for the ball, throwing the ball, swinging the bat, running to first base. It's whatever. But all that bitching aside, excuse me, they are still holding their 2.5 game in first place, lead over Tampa Bay, and can't do much better than that. I think they've won 9 straight series in a row. They've won 22 out of the last 29 games after going 3-10. So you know what? Yeah, baby. Can you see it? Does everybody see it? Yeah, that's right. New York Yankees, baby. Okay, enough about the Yankees. So we're going to do a few songs. And I'm going to try every week, every time I do this, a couple of times a week, to get to the songs a little bit earlier. And hold on, won't you? I see that I have a message here, and it's my sister who's over in Jersey with my cousin Gina, and I just wanted her to know that, okay, very good, that Lucky did good. He hung out all day, feeling sorry for himself, And so I went down and spent some time with him. And then I said, let's go, let's have something to eat. And I made him some arroz con pollo, rice and some chicken. And he sucked it down like he was going to the electric chair, which was great. And then I gave him, Rachel Ray has this product out called Soup Bones. And let me tell you something, the dog, it's a little expensive, but you get 4 of them for $5. But what I do, because I'm the human, I break him in half. So instead of wasting all whole money. And so after he got done and doing a good job with eating his food, I gave him a nice big chunk of his soup bone. And he looked at me with such beautiful eyes. And then he ran downstairs and hid it under the couch. Can't figure out dogs. Don't want to either. But I love that dog. So, so anyway, so I'm going to start doing songs a little bit early, into this stuff and, just let it flow. I don't have to follow any kind of. People told me, if you notice, I kept looking down at things and what should we talk about next and this and that because I was giving advice, not bad advice. I mean, I understood it. But, write down a whole thing of what you want to do in the order you want to do it. No, that's just not me, So, I'm here to have fun. I'm here definitely to entertain you people and sing a few songs, tell some stories, whatever it is. And I got my other, what do they call them again? Webcam. What a genius. Came today. So I have that set up on top of this camera over here, facing to this chair over there. So, little by little, we could start having people come up. And I think one of my first people I will have up here, if he ever comes out of hiding, is my cousin Anthony. And, he would be fun. And then you got, Bella, who's going to do maybe a co-hosting job over here. And if my son ever comes up, he'll do it with us. And if I can ever get lucky to stay in that chair, I'll have to spend about $4,000 on soup bones. But that would be fun, too, And everybody keeps telling me, bring Tino. Bring Tino where? I bring him here on a table. He'll be all covered in bird poop because that's all he does. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but what he does is in the cage, if anybody has birds, you know what I'm talking about, especially he's a finch. He's a finch's son of a... And so you got it hooks on the little slide-up door is for the food. And then there's another one that's for the water. So, it's not that big. It's only, can you see this? That's about how big it is. And maybe just a little bit deep so they can get their little heads in there and drink some water. So I took a nice little bowl, a small soup bowl that's about this big, if you could see that, and I fill that with water, and I put that in the middle of the cage for him. So he could take a bath in there. He could take a couple of drinks if he wants, because sometimes if the seed's too hard, they like to, with a little bit of water to soften it up, and then they eat it. And okay, so what this knucklehead's been doing, what he first started doing was he was sipping out of the giant bowl and taking a bath in the tiny bowl where he could barely fit in, which is like boggles my head. But now I fill up the giant bowl and he takes the paper towel matting on the bottom, that maybe you get away with changing every 3 days. And he takes it and he rips it up and then he drops it into the water, so those paper towels suck up all the water. Then there's no water left, and then the whole bottom is... So now I'm doing this every day with this guy, this friggin' finch over there. But it's Tino. You always hear him in the background, so, he's part of the family here. And, sometimes if I'm making eggs, let me tell you, I could see him. He's giving me dirty looks. If I'm eating chicken, he starts yelling and screaming. Don't tell me he don't know. He knows. He knows, boy, let me tell you. So anyway, so let's do this song. We'll start off, like I always like to start off with either Frank Gordino or Elvis. And let me just say one thing. I have not missed, I think, except for once when I was in the hospital, I have not missed wishing happy birthday to everybody, thanks to Facebook, that they put the birthdays up every day. And I think it's a nice thing that they do. I don't know if it's nice when they put the ladies up there with their age, but there's a way they could not show that, but whatever. But so today is over the past I don't know, maybe month or so, a little bit more, on Instagram. I got to be friends with Linda Thompson, and I was a big fan of hers all the way back in, not all the way back, Linda. I'm sorry. But back in the hee-haw days, and she was on that, and and pop up in the field with a straw in her mouth, and then she spent about 4 or 5 years of her life with Elvis Presley. I don't think I have to say the last name. And she is just a wonderful human being, unbelievable talent. I think I spoke about this maybe once before. I don't know, but she's written many and co-written many hit songs for a lot of people out there that you'd be surprised, the talent. But today's her birthday, so happy birthday, Linda Thompson. And her son is breaking out now. After Elvis, they realized it wasn't going to go, into the happy ending chapters, and so they went their separate ways. And then she ended up marrying Bruce Jenner, and they had two boys together. And one of them, God, I don't know his name. I can't remember his name. Chad and Jason. I don't know, whatever. But he's breaking out into singing now, writing his own songs, just like his mom. And he's got an unbelievably unique kind of voice, and he's got a little bit of I know it's hard not to make that comparison, but you have nothing to do with it. But he's got that nervous energy that he tries to control when he's up on the stage singing, that Elvis used to have. That he used to try to control it, and then the hell with it, and then let it go loose. So keep your eye open for him. And so anyway, yeah. So let me do this song. Happy birthday, Linda Thompson. And let's do this song by Mr. Francis Albert Sinatra, now coming to you from the Songfather. And it's a wonderful song called Come Fly With Me. And what he's saying in this song is, you know what? Here it is. It was written by Sammy Cahn, and I can't remember the other guy, John Van Heusen or Jimmy Van Heusen or whatever. And he's saying, you know what? This is it. There's nothing we can't do now, me and you together. I'm in love with you, so let's go. Let's fly away. Let's head to the clouds, and let's head down to Peru. And it's just one of my favorite songs. I believe this was I think I can picture him with taking his hat off or something. I don't know, and Come Fly With Me on the cover of the album. But yeah, anyway, so sing along with me if you will, or you Mr. Francis Albert Blue Eye Sinatra fans out there, and let's sing Come Fly With Me. Can we? We can. There you go. Come fly with me, come fly, let's fly away. If you can use some exotic booze, there's a bar in far Bombay. Come fly with me, come fly, let's fly away. Come on, fly with me, we'll float down to Peru. In Llama Land, there's a one-man band, and he'll toot his flute to you. He'll toke up in the flying in the blue. Once I get you up there, where the air is rarefied, we'll just glide starry-eyed. Once I get you up there, I'll be holding you so near. You may hear angels cheer, 'cause we're together. Weatherwise, it's such a lovely day. You just say the words and we'll beat the birds down to Acapulco Bay. It's nice down there. Perfect for a flying honeymoon, they say. Come fly with me, let's fly away. Oh! Once I get you up there. Wow, that was the short version. Terrible. I'm very, very upset by this, but all right. Anyway, I always like to have repeated that, but that was the short version. Sometimes you don't know what music you're getting behind it. But I hope I made it down to Acapulco Bay. It wasn't long enough to get there. I think I crashed into the ocean, but Acapulco. All right. Let me tell you a quick story. Years ago, a couple of friends of mine Joey Ceffatella, Andy McGovern, Michael Ferguson, myself, and Marty Buckley, and then somebody else. But they had we planned a trip to go down to Acapulco. And I was like, wow, really? Okay. Back then all you needed was a license and Liberty Travel. That was it. And so we went. And we did a pretty good job at partying, no matter where we were. Is in the backyard or at the clubs or whatever it is. But when we got down there, they didn't know how to party. We showed them how to party. At any given time, especially for happy hour, there was, I don't know, I'm not exaggerating, 200 beers lining from one end of the bar to the other. Anybody that came in, especially if it was a girl, here you go, have a beer, here you go. We just kept loading them up. Unfortunately, I'm not a beer drinker, so, I'm doing my Johnny Black and a little Sambuca every once in a while. But, we were sliding across the dance floor and getting up and asking to play with the band, even though none of us could play an instrument. But we made a name for ourselves down there that year. And, of course, then we went back and, did all kind. We went out on, I forgot what they called it, like a booze cruise, I guess, on one of these tiki boats or whatever. And we got smashed. Came back and jumped into the pool at the hotel at the El Presidente. And I still had a cigarette in my mouth and jumped in and the cigarette. It was just fun. But anyway, we had such a good time and we showed all the pictures and we just did nothing but talk about it that we went back the following year. So instead of just the 6 of us, now it was like 8 or 9 of us. Everybody wanted to come along. And so you got to imagine that in the course of a year, especially that place, now it's a little, you got to be careful. You can't go here. Don't go outside this. We rented scooters and made believe we were Hell's Angels, and we went into the small towns, and we drove we drove through bars, and then we parked them outside like we were tough guys, and went inside and sat down. We're drinking beer, and a bull comes walking in the back door and right out the front door. A couple of seconds later, the mule it comes in the front door. And, Freddie Rubino is hearing this. He'll be going nuts, lately what's been happening with all this stuff with food with him lately and people crapping on watermelons and whatever. But, the mule came in and stopped and kind of gave us a look. And, it had the straw hat with the ears coming out, the poor guy. But, he took a little dump there in the middle of the thing. But we had just had a great time. So now we go back 365 days later, roughly thereabout. But can you imagine how many people came and left Acapulco? You know what I'm saying? In the course of that time. There was only the 6 of us that first time. We went to the, I can't remember the name of it now, but it's on the other side of the island. And beautiful, beautiful hotel, very exclusive. And, we went in, not members, not hotel guests. It'll come to me, the Princess. And they had a bar that was, set in the pool, but way out back with a waterfall, We went and swam underneath and got up. Stools right at the bar. You're in the water. It's so nice because you're on the equator, so that sun is like, frying pan hot. And they're sitting there, and the waterfall behind us was just wonderful, and laughing. And everybody down there, I know it's a tourist trap or it's a tourist way of life for the home, people and employees to be extra friendly because we're spending the money in your country. I get that, but they were genuinely fun people, and they could take a joke and bust chops back and forth. So we thought. So we're at the Princess, and we're sitting at the bar, and we're playing all kinds of beer, drinking games, and teaching the bartender, and a couple of the management people are kind of giving a look like, who are these guys? I don't remember seeing them, but nobody said nothing because we're paying, and so at one point I turned to the bartender and I said, "This is great. We don't have this, and we're from New York. We don't have this up here anywhere. This is terrific. I don't have to get off my stool to go to the bathroom. It's like a home run." And it was a joke, but not to them. And it couldn't have been more than 5 minutes later. Next thing you know, here come those same 2 management pain in the asses that were looking, but with a few security guys too. And, could we see you? So we got to swim off to the side and get out. And, can I help you? Yeah. Where are you? Where's your towels? Because you can't go down to the pool or use the lounge chairs without a princess towel that they give you when you check in or up in the room. And so we said, "Oh, it's over there. Well, show us." I'm like, "Okay, we're in trouble now." All I'm thinking is all the horror stories I heard that we were going to, end up in jail and be there for 17 years until some president gets a pardon for us, And so we walk over and we lucked out. There was like 4 or 5 lounge chairs in a row with towels on them, princess towels. We said, "Right here." Well, where's your, you got your key? You got your card for the room? I said, "No, I think he has it, whatever." And as we're talking, it was 6 of them. 3 couples come back from wherever they were eating or swimming, and they take the towels. So we got thrown out, and we were never allowed back in there. So anyway, now you fast forward 365 days later. We all check in. They went down early. I had to go testify in court on a case that I had caught, and so I went down the next day. I was up the whole night, drinking and arguing with my girl at the time, so I slept all the way down there. I slept on the plane. I get up, and I know the whole routine now from being down there. There's people waiting for buses and waiting for cabs. I walk right out into the street. They see you, boom, they pick you up. So instead of paying $5 American on that line, I gave the guy 10. I was home before they even got inside a cab. And, put myself in the room. Oh, yeah. Oh, hold on a minute. And then we see this friend of mine, Tim Kenny, that didn't go with them because who was playing golf and who was doing this. So he goes and shows me the room. And for 20, I think it was $20 each guy. So it was like $120 American. They gave to the guy that kind of runs the check-in procedures. And he gave us all at the top penthouse rooms, up and down duplexes, pools out in the balcony, and everything else. It was terrific. And then we go to the happy hour, and it's a long way to go around to get to this part. But we walk in, and the bartenders remembered us. I mean, come on. A whole year later, how many tens of thousands of people were in and out of that country, were in and out of that city, were in and out of that hotel and that bar, because that's where, there was a lot of clubs for dancing and stuff, but that's where bands played and everything, and it was a little more quieter. And, we thought we were like kings and queens. And then we went around and in sheets one night telling everybody, toga party, invite everybody back to the room. And we just, whatever. That was just a nice memory. But when you hear the song, when he mentions Acapulco, it always comes back to us, always. And, yeah, pretty cool. And we're all still alive. Could you believe that? So, all right, so let's do this other one by Sinatra. It's about flying, but this time it's flying to the moon, so everybody loves that. The song Fly Me to the Moon is just great. And I got to say, my friend Charlie, my friend, let me just get this. This is what you hate about, I am reaching out. Okay. So my friend Charlie he's the one that I did my first 2 albums with. And Murata, and he's up in Deer Park over there somewhere out in the island. And he's just, he's been around a long time. But his main gig has always been producing and recording, a lot of hip hop music and even rap and everything else. He's got 2 walls head to toe covered with gold and platinum and this and that. And, so we're all proud of him for what he's done there, because he's a nice non-tanning white Italian boy from the island, and to get mixed in with that business and succeed at it, it's a big accomplishment, But yeah, he's been very good with that. But so one day I'm singing, and I'm laying down tracks, as we say in the business. Yeah. And so I'm singing "Come Fly Me to the Moon," and so he has his whole board up. So when you're in the booth, you really can't see anything but him when he stands up and says, "All right, bring it up a little bit. You were a little flat, blah, 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 blah." So I do the song, and then, okay, let's come out and listen to it. And I come out of the booth, and I walk around. And there's like Charlie's behind the counter and this other friend of his. And there's like 6 of these, I don't want to say rap, but hip-hop guys that got there a little bit early And so they were hoping that maybe they could start doing what they had to do early, but the Songfather had it, so they had to wait. And so they're playing it back, and I got to be honest with you, I'm a little like, oh, Jesus, these guys, they're on stage, they're going all around the country, and, they've got records and platinum records, and, and like, so he's playing it back, and all of a sudden I kind of peek over in there, snapping their fingers to it, and on. So the song ends, and they go, "Hey, Charlie, hey, that was," whatever they said, not far out, but, in other words, it was great. I really enjoyed that. Who is that? And he says, him. That's you. That was you. I said, yeah. Man, that was some good stuff. Maybe you want to stick around and sing with us, And then they, light up a, something. No, I'm okay. I'm good, whatever. But so every time I hear this song, I always loved it through my mother growing up, like, especially, like I said, on Sunday mornings. And then to hear that, and that was my first, like, really understanding how music has no color, has no religion, has no upbringing, whatever it is. Yeah, certain groups, certain venues have their own group, but music transcends all that. If it's good, and I don't mean me, I mean the music. If the beat is good and the music is good and the intent is there and the professionalism and it's really being enjoyed and presented, everybody enjoys it, and that was a good learning lesson for me. So if I could learn to shut up, wow, unbelievable. But here is Fly Me to the Moon, one of my favorites, Mr. Blue Eyes. Hear that? Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, baby, kiss me. Fill my heart with joy. Let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. Gotta love it. Could have been having a sambuca right now. Fill my heart with song. Let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I cherish and adore. In other words, please be true. Oh, in other words, I love you. Ah, what a tune. So that was another great moment in my life. We all have a lot of them, and I have some more than any, and then I have none, whatever that means, I don't know. So anyway, I don't want it to start getting crazy because it's a little lightning out there and starting to get dark again. And, it's an old wives' tale, but I was always told never sing in the middle of a thunderstorm. That's right. Absolutely not the truth. But my Bella wanted to hear King of the Road, and everybody, it's amazing that whenever I sing it, how many people chime in and say, oh, my God, I love that song. It reminds me of my father. It reminds me of my uncle so-and-so, this and that, And, there's songs that that you think people have forgotten, and maybe for the moment they have, but when they hear it, everything comes rushing back. You remember where you were, who you were with, what you were doing, who your best friends were, what school you were in. I mean, that's the most wonderful thing about music that I particularly love, and that I'm able to bring. When I do something like this, or if I'm at a party or a wedding, or even at a venue somewhere, and I sing a few songs, and it brings people back to different places, of their lives. And, because they don't, I don't want to sound like an old fart, but they don't write them like this anymore. Lyrics and music, they just don't. Everything is quick. The studios are the ones that are writing it. The studios are the ones that are doing the music, and, the autocorrect in the voice, and the auto tune. And I mean, it's really not the same anymore. And when you look back, and, everybody always refers to the Rat Pack, and rightfully so. But the main thing was, forget about their talent, because that was just, God's given gift to them. But they had fun. That's what it was about. Not fun making money, not fun getting involved in politics, like that dumb De Niro and everything, I'll tell you a quick story about Robert De Niro. We were filming a movie called Cruising, and Al Pacino was the star, and he was a detective. That was going undercover to try to solve murders of all these gay guys in New York City, and the gay community was very up in arms because they had gotten some bad information, and they thought it was going to be kind of saying, yeah, okay, yeah, go kill all the gays, and that's not what this was about. The movie was about the cops, and so it was pretty scary for a while. They were picketing and throwing things, and bricks and rocks and bottles, and it was bad for a while. But we were all the way down on the West End, down right by the water, and they had a production studio down there, pretty nice size. And it was a Saturday. I was there with my Uncle Bob, and so we were just watching, making sure nobody got hurt. It was a Weintraub Productions. I spent most of my time with his son to make sure nothing happened with him, and then all our time with Al Pacino, who, believe it or not, is a great guy, but a very quiet guy. And especially during this time, he would stay in his trailer, come out, do the scene, and we'd take him right back into the trailer because there was just, so many threats and everything else. But on this particular day, I forget the guy's name, but it was cutting Al Pacino's hair. And Mark Johnson, who was associate producer at the time, is now over the years gone on to bigger and better things, and Oscar-winning, and a big-time producer, but a really nice guy. So he's leaving one day, and he says, listen, I'll be right back. I'm going to pick up Robert De Niro. I said, well, okay. I didn't know he was in the movie. And he goes, no, he's not. But him and Pacino used the same hairstylist, cutter, whatever. Oh, okay. So, he leaves, and I'm like, to my Uncle Bob, oh, shit, Robert De Niro's coming here. It was like right after Raging Bull. And I mean, right after Taxi Driver. And so they come back maybe about a half hour later. They walk in, and Mark Johnson introduces, Robert De Niro. And I was known as Sal. This is Sal. And Bobby. They're our security guys and looking after your buddy Al. And blah, blah. Oh, how you doing? Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. And, I think I'm being cool, and I went, oh, are you talking to me? And he just kind of went, and he, walked down the hallway about 10 to 15 steps, stopped, turned around like this and looked at me, shook his head, turned halfway, now 3/4 down, stops again, and, I'm watching him, and he's really sticking it to me, so. And then he walked inside, and I was like, all right, so maybe, he probably heard that a billion times after the movie come out, but you got to make me look like an ass, all the way down the hallway. I said, so right away I thought the guy was a jerk. So he gets his hair cut, and he's leaving, and him and Mark are walking on Mark Johnson now are walking back out, and they got to come past me again. I'm like, oh, Jesus, is there another way they could have, gotten out of here? But no. So as they're walking by, Mark says the same thing, and I'll be back in about an hour. And I said, okay. And he said, and I said, have a good day, or have a good weekend, Mr. De Niro, or whatever I said. And he keeps on walking, and I was like, fuck him, excuse my mouth. And he stops, and he turns around, he goes, what are you talking to me? And then he smiled, and I said, oh. I didn't mean to say it out loud. I went, oh, so you're not a dick. Oh. And my uncle wanted to take me and beat me into a pulpit to the ground, but I don't know. Sometimes my mouth is just, it's got a mind of its own. I don't know how I got there. From there to King of the Road, I have no idea. But here is King of the Road. I love this song. Tino, I'm singing. Thank you. Yeah? Everybody snap. Trailers for sale or rent, rooms to let 50 cents. No phone, no pool, no pets. I ain't got no cigarettes, but 2 hours of pushing broom buys an 8 by 12 4-bedroom. I'm a man of means by no means, king of the road. 3rd boxcar, midnight train, destination Bangor, Maine. Old worn out suit and shoes. I don't pay no union dues. I smoke old stogies I have found, short but not too big around. I'm a man of means by no means, king of the road. I know every engineer on every train, all of their children and all of their names, and every handout in every town, and every lock that ain't locked when no one's around to sing. Trailers for sale or rent, rooms to let 50 cents. No phone, no pool, no pets. I ain't got no cigarettes, but 2 hours of pushing broom buys an 8 by 12 4-bedroom. I'm a man of means by no means, king of the road. Trailers for sale or rent, roofs to let 50 cents. No phone, no pool, no pets. I ain't got no cigarettes, but 2 hours of pushing broom buys an 8 by 12 4-bedroom. Yeah, there you go with the fade out. Beautiful song. Loved it, always did. I hope everybody enjoyed that one. Sing it along with the Songfather. There you go, Bella. That was for you. She wanted to hear it, so you do it. And, so anyway, we went over the Yankees and the thunderstorms, and it's funny, I got my De Niro story in there, which is pretty cool. And I just want to make one observation that I have seen all over Facebook now and Instagram and the internet in general. People are praying more. And, that could be taken as a bad thing, that things are so bad, people are praying more. But I'm taking it as a good thing, that we're finally coming back around to where we need to be. And you're not just saying praying for ourselves. I noticed they're praying for other cities and countries and people that are going through hard times, and pray for my uncle and pray for my neighbor I saw the other day. That one really got me. That was something else, Please, if you can, all you prayer warriors, say a prayer for my neighbor and, whatever his name was. He's in the hospital, whatever. So, it's not family, it's not work related, it's not somebody that God forbid got shot and killed. This is somebody praying for a neighbor. Is that not what we were taught 2,000 years ago? Love thy neighbor as thyself. There you go, right there. So I think we're finally starting to get it, and maybe it took some of the heinous and ridiculous and absolutely inhumane things that have been, done across this country and across this world to make us go, well, wait a minute, you know what? We kicked God out of school. We kicked him out of here. We kicked him out of there. Now we can't say at games, and, they're taking, what's her name? Oh, my God. Kate Smith out of a few stadiums because she sang a song. And do your homework first before you jump on the bandwagon loaded with guns and arrows and everything. And it's a song, first of all, she didn't write. She wasn't the only one to sing it. And if you just take the words, because she uses in the song, it's used darkies, absolutely wrong. At different time, it's 100 years ago, but even still, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, it's wrong to use that word. And but if you really look it up and look at the words, she's praising them because they're the only ones that are stepping up to save the world. They're the only ones that are stepping up to do the work, to make progress, to bring us closer to God. They're the only ones that are praying and still believing it. And it was questionable, no doubt about it. But to remove that, here's a lady that she gave, I don't know, somewhere 60% of all her time and salary, and to helping the needy and the homeless and the less, I hate the word slum, but I'm going to say the less successful areas of the cities all around the country, and of course out of the country too. She was an unbelievable philanthropist, and she was an unbelievable, God-loving, God-fearing, God-doing kind of a person. And just to take that and just boom, because somebody might be offended. Nobody said anything, but they did it just in case it might happen, because somebody said, "Yeah, wait a minute, have you ever really heard the words to the song that she did 100 years ago?" So because of that, we're going to take out the song about America. I don't know. What they're doing. I'm not going to get on the whole thing, and I know my good friend Freddie Rubino touched on it the other day, quite a few times over the past couple of years, because you want to do away with Columbus Day because supposedly Columbus owned slaves or something like that. I don't know. I got news for everybody. Back in those days, everybody owned slaves, including black people. So again, I'm not saying it's right. Absolutely no way in hell is it right to own somebody else. But the man discovered the country we're living in, and we want to get rid of him. I don't know. You know what we need? We need some Dino Crocetti singing about That's Amore. That's what we all need. Love. Everybody. When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore. When the stars make you smile and you don't have a style, that's amore. Bells will ring, ting-a-ling-a-ling, ting-a-ling-a-ling. You'll sing Vita Bella. Hearts will play tippy-tippy-tay, tippy-tippy-tay, like a gay tarantella. When the stars make you drool just like a pasta fazool, that's amore. When you walk down the street with a cloud at your feet, you're in love. When you walk in a dream, but you know you're not dreaming, signore. Scusa me, but you see, by an old Napoli, that's amore. Everybody. That's amore. That's amore. Lucky fella. Just like a pasta fazool, that's amore. When you walk down the street with the cloud at your feet, you're in love. when you walk in a dream, but you know you're not dreaming, signore. Scusa me, but you see, begging on, I believe that's amore. That's amore. That's right. That's what we all need. A little vino, a little pasta, a little Dino, a little Frankie, a little Sambuca, espresso, and amore. What else could you ask for? Yeah. So anyway, there we go. Once again, I keep saying it. I got to start getting a clock or something so I know how far I'm rambling on and on here. But I hope we had fun tonight. I hope I didn't get too far off on any tangents, which I have a tendency to do in life. Anyway, but yeah, this is what we'll do from this point forward. Instead of doing, 2 songs, we do maybe 4 songs, sometimes 5, who knows? Special occasions and special things, and we'll just do a whole theme of whatever that thing is coming up, like we did a few weeks ago with the 14th being Bobby Darin's birthday, and also the day that Francis Albert left us. So, it's kind of the same kind of upbringing, the same kind of style, and unique in their own individual ways, and kind of banged heads a little bit. And amazing that they would share that date. It's just crazy. So anyway, thank you. I love you all. Thank you. Share this, please, and tell a lot of people about it. Say, look, there's this crazy friggin' Italian guy, and all of a sudden he's jamming himself down to our frequency. But that didn't sound right. But you know what I'm saying. And, who knows? Who knows where this could take off to, And, again, as I always tell you, don't forget Freddie Rubino. Right now he's, I forget where he is now. I think he's up in Jersey this weekend. He's just been on a tail lately, going everywhere. But usually every Monday night he does his cooking show with his wife, Christine. And it's called Get the Food Out of Here. And then on Wednesdays, and if you didn't see him last Wednesday, you missed a treat, because he overpoured on the Tanqueray and tonic, and he was just funny. He reminded me of kind of what I was telling you about Acapulco. So he was without any inhibitions, and even Christine, she couldn't take it anymore, and she busted out hysterical laughing, and they just. They really are just a pleasure to watch and laugh and make us realize we're all the same, no matter what, going through the same thing. So, all right, ciao, I love you. And as we say, bam, see you soon in a few days or so.